Hello and welcome to episode 17 of the Product Biz Podcast, all about Etsy Marketing 101 and photos that turn Etsy viewers into buyers. So for most small business owners, we know that marketing and selling is something that we have to do and something that we have to get better at. But we struggle with actually figuring out how to do it right. And when you add in another layer of trying to understand marketing and selling on a platform like Etsy, we might not even know what to do in the first place. But in order for our products to get in front of more people and for them to want to buy our products, we have to understand how marketing and selling actually works and then put that into practice too. And if marketing and selling isn't your strongest skill, then you're in luck because in today's episode, I'll be sharing with you the top marketing tips specifically for your Etsy photos that not only lead to more views and more sales, but they help you feel confident that you have the right photos in place to not only appear in the search results, but also confirm the customer's expectations so you get those sales on Etsy too. Are you ready to go behind the scenes and learn what it really takes to create consistent sales each and every month with your handmade small business? Join me, Monica Little, self-taught multiple six-figure small business owner and your product business coach, as I give you the insight and inspiration on how to better run your business and increase your sales in ways that you may not have even been aware of, so that your business can truly become what you knew it could be back when you first started. Learn how to let go of perfection, overcome the fear of failure that is holding you back, and finally start taking action so that you walk away feeling like you've cracked the code on how to run a successful small business. You're listening to the Product Biz Podcast. So as always, I want to start off with a story as we dive into this episode. So this topic really surfaced just from seeing what a lot of the people inside Etsy algorithm secrets were really struggling with. And I know that we have this view that titles and tags and ads are so important on Etsy. But what I really focus on when I teach Etsy to my clients and to my members is that it's so much more than just that. And don't get hung up on doing the same things over and over if it's not working. Take a step back, see where else you can optimize, see where else there's room to grow, see where else you can really up-level your business, because there's so much more that can be done when we really step out of this view of I need to change my titles, I need to change my tags, I need to change my keywords. You'll hear me say this over and over, like, yes, that is important, but if that's where you're focusing all of your time, you're missing so much potential easy opportunity on how you can continue to get in front of more customers and get more sales, get more orders on Etsy. So this conversation really stems with my members, with my clients, as I'm sharing it with you here today. So much more than just Etsy. This is an overall marketing discussion. And when you think about marketing, what marketing basically is how we sell our products, how we promote our products, how we educate people about our products, everything that we do directly or indirectly that convinces a customer that, yes, I want to buy this right now. That essentially is marketing. And when we talk about indirect versus direct marketing, we can do like active selling on social media where we are physically talking about the product and linking the product and telling people to purchase. But there's indirect marketing too, which is when we have specific photos on Etsy that are talking about the benefits of the product, that are showing the experience of the product, that are showing the product with other products for potential upsell opportunities. And these are all forms of indirect marketing. And it gets into more of like the psychology of marketing and how do we really show our products in a way that people are eager and excited to buy. So if you've attended the How to Get Your Product Seen on Etsy free webinar, which if you haven't, you can register at monicalittlecoaching.com/Etsy webinar. But if you've attended that, then you know a little bit more about my background and how I went to school for business, for supply chain specifically. But for the 8 years after college, I worked in analytics, I worked in product management, I worked in procurement, I worked in operations, I worked in commercialization, and I spent a few years in marketing and customer loyalty. and learned a ton. And it's so interesting because what I learned specifically at Expedia is super relevant to Etsy, because when you think about Expedia, and I worked at Expedia, if that wasn't clear. If you think about Expedia, what Expedia does is they are a platform where they host hotel room nights, airfare, rental cars, things that you can book. And when you think about Etsy, it's extremely similar because they are hosting small business products. Expedia doesn't manage the hotels or the airlines or the car rental companies. They're just a platform that sells these items. And Etsy doesn't own any of these small businesses, doesn't manage or run these businesses. It's just a platform that sells these products, right? So a lot that I learned at my time at Expedia, specifically in marketing and customer loyalty, has helped me so much with how I built and grew my Etsy shop. And that's why I'm super excited to share a lot of that with you today. So just to kind of wrap up that story, this really came up with my Etsy clients, Etsy members, seeing what they were struggling with, seeing where they were kind of getting caught up, focusing on titles, keywords, and tags, and really explaining to them the value of marketing, indirect marketing, direct marketing, how we can utilize all the photo placements on Etsy to educate and convince and show the value of our products. And that is what I'll be sharing with you today. So let's dive into some of these top marketing tips for your specific photos on Etsy. So the very first thing that I want to say as we dive into this topic is your first photo on Etsy. And this is the most important photo that you can have, and I know that you know this. But what I want you to do with this main photo is make sure that it catches the attention of the shopper by seeing what other people are using as their main photo for similar products. So if you go and search facial oil or whatever product you sell, take a really high-level overview of the general theme of the main photo that you're seeing on Etsy, and you're going to see maybe one or two or maybe three general themes of that first photo, what it looks like, how it pops, what is in that photo or not in that photo. So we can give a couple examples, and this came up in Etsy Algorithm Secrets with my members when we look at gold-filled jewelry. When we search gold-filled jewelry on Etsy and we see a lot of the main images for the first search results page, people wearing the jewelry, people wearing the necklaces and their stacked necklaces with multiple necklaces, and that was just like a main theme that we saw right away when we did that quick search. And then you have to ask yourself, does your main photo mirror those trends of what's actually doing good on Etsy, what's on the first search results page? And one thing that I've said before, and I'll say it again, is that success leaves clues. So if you can see this general theme of what is really being shown on this first page and learn from it, you are going to have an advantage. Because the truth is, images are part of the Etsy algorithm. Just like images on Instagram are part of the Instagram algorithm. If you post a certain photo that Instagram knows is trending either by the colors or the visuals or the ratio of whatever it may be in that image, there's some sort of algorithm within both Instagram and Etsy that's taking into consideration the type of photo, that's scanning the photo, that's understanding the components of the photo, and that is part of being shown in the search results, that very first image that you have. And certain photos, certain images are going to perform better than others. So this is one of the biggest takeaways, and people, number one, don't ever do the research to see what's actually trending on Etsy for their product. Or number two, have an old, outdated photo that they've been using for the last couple of years, and they haven't actually seen if this is still relevant, if this is still speaking to customers, or if people are not going to even notice that because it's outdated, because it's no longer what people are visually looking for. So this is the first mistake. And it can cost you, honestly, like thousands if you don't get this right, because this is, number one, part of the algorithm. And number two, the main eye-catching photo that people are going to relate to or not relate to get them to click on your listing and then potentially buy. So it's so important to do this little bit of research, but also to up-level your photos in whatever way that means, right? So if that means hiring a professional photographer to get photos that are more updated, more in style, more on trend, more eye-catching, more appealing, that is entirely worth it, because the additional sales that you will get from these new elevated photos is going to cover the cost of that photographer. So make sure you do some research on this and understand, is the main photo a white backdrop photo? Is the main photo a photo of the product with like individual components of what makes up the product? Is the main photo people wearing it? Is the main photo people using it? What is that main photo? And success leaves clues, and let's learn from it and make sure that our main photo is doing something similar that is going to capture the attention of the customer. So Etsy, obviously, what's on the first search results page is a combination of number one, ads, but number two, the listings that are selling a lot. So if you look on the first search results page and you see general themes of these first images, those are the ones that are selling a lot. So let's learn from them and let's start to sell our products in a way that we know we're going to sell a lot too, because we've strategically chosen the first photo of our Etsy listing to be something that's competitive and on trend and is going to capture the attention of the customer. If you attended my webinar, which I'm going to refer back to a bit here because you get so much more context in that webinar on overall Etsy strategy, but I have a 3-part method called ACT, and the first acronym, the first letter is A. And what that stands for is attract and appear. So what we're talking about now with this main photo is all about attracting the customer's attention. And this is why this is so incredibly important and why I went on a little bit of an exaggerated tangent on it, but I hope that explains to you the importance of this. So the next photo that I want to make sure that you have as well is the product actually being used. So what most people do is that they have their individual products as they are as a photo. What we need to make sure that we also have is the product being used. So showing the actual experience of the product. And marketing, such a big component of marketing is about the experience. So what are people going to feel when they buy this? What are people going to feel when they use it? What is the actual experience of this product going to be when they have the product in their hand? And a couple other examples from my Etsy members when we've talked through this and worked through this. So one example from my Etsy members is for someone who sells greeting cards. And a lot of the times with greeting cards, since they are just a flat card, right? The imagery is relatively basic. You can have the image of the front of the card, the inside of the card, the back of the card. But her cards specifically are for people who are experiencing some sort of grief. So it's a very niche product, and it's different ways to show your compassion for someone who's experiencing grief rather than like the traditional cards that maybe you come across at the store. So these are just more elevated, more empathetic, more just more robust ways to show your sympathy for people who are experiencing grief. So when we talked about this during our Etsy audit hours, we talked about like what is the actual experience of someone who receives this card. So they're probably potentially also getting like flowers, right? If they're experiencing some sort of grief, maybe there's also flowers. So how can we have photos that show the experience of this card? So flowers in a vase with the card next to it on that table. What's the actual experience of people who are receiving this product and using this product? So then the person who's buying it can start to see psychologically, right? They can start to see and imagine what their friend who's experiencing a hardship will potentially experience when they get this product. Like hopefully they feel loved, hopefully they feel compassion, hopefully they also have flowers and other things that are just showing how much people care for them, in addition to this card. And that's the overall experience that we want to make sure that we are showing through our photos. Every single photo is an opportunity to educate the customer, to give the customer an experience, to show the customer why they should buy this product. So we don't want to have any missed opportunities by only having white backdrop photos, and that's it. We want to really embody how it's being used and how the recipient, the customer, will feel when they have this product. So another really good one when we talk about experience is if you do have some sort of unique packaging. If you sell products, but also how they're bundled is really unique in a fun gifting way. So if you have custom boxes, if you package them in some way in a nice box or with some sort of ribbon or with something, that's also something that you want to share on the experience side, especially on Etsy, because so many people go on Etsy to buy gifts for other people. So this is another example from our Etsy audit hours. We have another small business that makes sensory toys for toddlers. So things like Play-Doh, these bins with like colored rice and figurines and all sorts of like just really fun active games and activities for kids. And what she said is most people who are buying from her are buying as gifts for their friends, their family, for other people in their lives that have children. And this was such a good opportunity that on Etsy to capitalize that and say, if people are buying this product as a gift, not only do we want to show what the product is, the experience of the product, so like a kid actually playing with it, but also the experience of the product in terms of how it's packaged, so people can see that this is a gift that they can give to someone because she pre-packages them in this cellophane bag with a nice little bow, and it's like the perfect gift-ready product. So there's two experiences right there that she can show in her photos on Etsy. Kids playing with it, so the customer then sees what type of kid, what age range is playing with this toy. How is this toy serving them? Is the kid happy? Like, what's the experience that the kid has, right? And number two, if they are gifting it to a mom of this child, or if they're gifting it to the child, what is the experience of this actual package of this gift that then the recipient will have and go through, right? So there's two experiences right there that are so important to have in your photos. Because that's something that, sure, in the description you can say gift ready. In the description you can say perfect for toddlers. But how do we show that in imagery so people actually see it and feel it? And that's how we all bring it back to marketing, right? The experience of the product. So that's a couple things that I wanted to mention about experience. Super, super important. And I think that's something that a lot of people potentially miss. And I share this with you because it's taken me quite the evolution and quite the amount of time to get my photos in a good way. And these are some things that I've missed too, right? Some things that I didn't have right off the bat, some things that I've just learned over time. But these are really important pieces to think through for your Etsy product listings. The third piece that I want to mention for the types of photos that you have on your Etsy listings is going more into like the cross-sell and upsell conversation. So it's super important to also have a photo of the product that you're selling, but also with other products of yours that you also sell. So some sort of lifestyle photo, some sort of curated photo with more products than just that one. If you have an Etsy listing and it's only photos of that product, multiple angles, that experience, that packaging for that one product, there's a missed opportunity of potentially upselling or cross-selling people to know what other products you sell, what other things they may be interested in, what other items they can add to their cart by using this photo placement of your product with other products that you sell. So this is so important to show people that you have a collection of items. And you have to think, if they are interested in one of your items and they are shopping from you, this is the perfect time for them to go to your shop and add a ton of items to their cart. If they're already interested in organic skincare and they're buying a facial serum from my shop, the chances of them going to my shop page to see what else I have and adding a face mask and adding a dry shampoo, adding something else to their order is pretty high. But we can make that even higher by having photos of multiple products in our Etsy listing. So again, in this psychological marketing way, we are preempting them to know that we have other products. It's like a presupposition, right? Like we're like, hey, we also have this. And when you buy this, and did you also know that you can add this to your cart? So we can cross-sell them to other products by letting them know what else we offer. This also gets super interesting when we get into like the description discussion of what's in your Etsy description. You can also cross-sell and upsell in your Etsy description. And maybe to take it a couple steps back, what we mean by cross-sell and upsell, so when you cross-sell something, it's like if someone's buying a facial serum, maybe they can also buy a face mask. So they're interested in one item, can we get them to get an additional item? When we say upsell, it means if someone's interested in a facial serum, and then I have a gift set that has the facial serum and a face mask and a jade roller, can we encourage them to purchase the gift set, the higher value package, by showing them what else that we offer, right? So that's the difference between cross-sell and upsell. But as we get into the description discussion of what should be in your Etsy description, which is another topic for another day. But while we're here talking about cross-sells and upsells, you can also link other products in your description. And it's super interesting because on Etsy, you can't link outside of Etsy in your description. You can't link to your Instagram. You can add your link in that description, but it's not clickable. Etsy doesn't want people on the Etsy platform to click to an external link, go there, get sidetracked, and never make their purchase. But in the description, you can link to other Etsy listings of yours. You can link to your Etsy shop page. So not only now are we starting to use this marketing lever in terms of having a photo with other products that you sell in the photo placement, but now in the description, we're solidifying that even further by saying, if you're interested in our facial oil, you'll also love our avocado and algae face mask. Click here to learn more. And now you see, like, marketing is all psychological, where we have it here, we have it there, we're mentioning it in multiple places, or seeing it in images. We're not being super bold in that image by saying, here's our collection and here's what else we offer. It's just an image of other items that we sell. But this is how it all comes to play, because there's a marketing statistic that says people need to see something like 7 times before they purchase. So if we show something in a photo, if we show it in the description, if they click on it and then view it, all right, we're there 3 times already. Now this gets into the bigger discussion of if they favorite it and you have an automatic coupon sent to them after they favorited one of your items, there's touch point number 4. And there's this whole bigger, wider strategy with Etsy. But as we're talking about photos, I hope you're starting to see how these photos can really play a huge part in your marketing initiatives on Etsy. So those are 3 types of photos I would recommend for you to have on your Etsy listing. But there's also some really fun variations that we can do with using graphics in your photos. So number 1, I want to make sure that if Etsy gives you 10 photo placements, you're using all 10 of them. There's no reason at all to have any leftover real estate that's not being utilized. So let's make sure those 10 images, we have something in every single one of them. If you are kind of struggling on what to add, or if you want to keep reinforcing certain concepts that we're going to dive into, these 3 items are amazing graphics that you can add to your Etsy photos. So when I talk about graphics, there's a couple different directions that this can go. So one of the key graphics that you should have in your Etsy photos, and this is so simple, so quick that you can go and hopefully do it today, is to have a graphic created, and you can use Canva. But what I want you to do is to go into that specific product, look at your reviews, and get the best review that you have for that product. Take a screenshot of it. Go into Canva and create a very quick template that says like customer review. You have 5 yellow stars as a graphic, and then you have that review pasted right there. Download that, add it to your Etsy as a photo, and that's how we are starting to build trust, even more trust with our customers. So in the ACT acronym from my webinar, the T is trust. And we have these awesome reviews on Etsy, but how do we solidify that and bring it up to the customer so they see it in another place, right? We hope that the customer will not only look at the photos, read the description, and read the reviews, but the chances are people probably aren't going to every single one of those places to confirm and to learn more and to see the reviews. They're probably scanning a couple places, going through a few photos. Maybe if they have any questions, they're reading the description. Maybe if they have any doubts, they're reading the reviews. But We want to make sure that we are giving the customers the right information at the right time across those 3 different places so they are so secure and have so much trust in their product that they are about to buy. And a super easy way to do that is by taking that screenshot of the review, adding it to a template, and updating that as a photo in your Etsy listings. Because then if a customer is just going through the photos, they may not even be thinking to read the reviews. We are showing them in that photo, this is a 5-star item. This is what a customer had to say. This is why you are going to love this item. And we're giving them that reinforcement and that trust that this is a great product. That is one of the simplest, easiest, quickest ways to build trust with your customers, by leveraging your reviews. And I hope you take that and run with it, because that's probably the easiest one out of all of these that you can do today right off the bat. But there are 2 other graphics that I want to mention as well that continue to build trust and continue to confirm the customer's expectations. So the second graphic that we can add to our photos is also about the product, but specifically the highlights of that product. So we have imagery showing what this product is like, how to use it, the experience of the product, the packaging of the product with our other products. Those are great images to have. But we also want to think about what's in the description about the benefits of this product, how to use this product, the features of the product, educating about this product. What's in the description that we can pull out and actually put into a graphic. And how I do this for plant-based beauty, for example, my avocado algae face mask, I have a photo of it with a white backdrop. I have that in the middle of the graphic. At the top, it says avocado and algae benefits. And then I have 4 bullet points that are 2 to the left and 2 to the right of the product that say nourishes the skin, instantly softens and smooths the skin, detoxes the skin, nourishes the skin. I don't know exactly what I have on there, but basically saying that this is a really nourishing, hydrating, detoxing face mask. These benefits of the product are in the description, but like we were just talking about, not a lot of people go to both the photos and the description, and then also the reviews, so all 3 of those places. So how do we pull up some things in the description that are so key, that are so vital, that are so convincing, that are so marketing centered, that when someone sees it in the photo, they're getting all the information that they need to confirm their expectations and to add that to the cart. So what potential information, product highlights, can you solidify in your photo by creating some sort of graphic? So it could be features about your product, it could be the benefits, it could be educating them somehow. So if you have a candle, this is a great way that you could just have a graphic with the different notes of the candle. Sure, that's in your description. Sure, that's on your product label, but how do we solidify that one step further and actually show people what the top notes and bottom notes are of the candle, or what the wick is made of what the wax is made of? How do we solidify that one step further through a graphic? So with this one, and actually for all of these, if you want to go to my Etsy page and just click around and see, you'll see I have these implemented on every single one. And now that you hear some of the strategy behind it, you're going to be able to pinpoint it and say, oh, I get why she's doing that. And oh, I get why she's doing that. But if you go to Etsy.com and just search for Shop Plant-Based Beauty, that's the name of my shop page, and you'll be able to see and pick up on some of these little marketing tactics. But the last one that I want to mention, which is also super easy, this is a graphic that has your brand values. So what does your brand stand for? What are the key features of your brand? And when I think of plant-based beauty, what I have on this graphic is organic, chemical-free, cruelty-free, vegan, handmade, woman-owned business, made in the USA. And then I think I also have something about like eco-friendly packaging and maybe a few other key words about my business, the brand values. And this is, again, creating that trust and confirming the customer's expectations that this is a product that they want. So this may be in the description, this may be in my shop page, but now I'm showing them the final image, the very last image of this product listing is all about plant-based beauty. And if they get all the way there and they see solidification and confirmation that these are the values that they also identify with and that they value, then this is going to be a no-brainer for them to add it to their cart. And we're educating them about our business, educating them about what we stand for, educating them about the brand, educating them about our main values. And people really relate to that, and people really resonate, and people buy from that point of view too. They buy from companies that they believe in and from companies that believe in the same things that they believe in. So this is a good way just to continue to educate the customer about your business. Another really good way, of course, to then hopefully have them go to your shop page and see what else you have, because now they're even more vested in your business. Now they feel that connection, which again is marketing. They feel connected, so now they're going to go to your shop page and see what else you have and add a couple other things to their cart. And this is how we start to increase the purchase value, get more sales, get more views, get more loyal customers who keep coming back on Etsy too. So those are just a few tips, a few marketing tricks that I wanted to share with you. I hope you found this super valuable. And this is a lot of the work that I work with people inside Etsy Algorithm Secrets. And I know we talked about 6 main photo types. I actually have 10 main photo types. So there's a few other ones that I work with my members on specifically to make sure that they have them, because photos are marketing. Marketing is selling. So your photos are either selling for you or they aren't, right? So how do we make sure that we are putting our best foot forward with our photos, because they matter so much more than you can imagine. The fun part about the graphics we talked about and some of this imagery and getting new professional photos is all of this can be repurposed. So all of the graphics that I made on Etsy are also on my website, and those are super easy, super potent social media posts that you can use that for too. So it's awesome because not only are we building Etsy and turning this into a solid little micro business of ours, but we're reusing that content for other places, other purposes. So it's not like it's just this effort for Etsy. It's this effort for your overall business, which is awesome. So with that, I just wanted to say thank you so much for listening to this episode of Top Marketing Tips for the Product Photos in Your Etsy Listing. Throughout this episode, you heard me mention my Etsy webinar, How to Get Your Product Seen on Etsy, which is a free training that you can sign up for at monicalittlecoaching.com/Etsy webinar, which will take what we talked about today and really share with you the overall strategy on how to get more views, how to get more customers, how to get more sales, how to get more orders on Etsy in a way that maybe you haven't thought of before. So I encourage you to take a listen. I think you'll find it extremely valuable. And if you found today valuable, then what you learn in this webinar is just going to continue to help you build momentum on Etsy and continue to build that as part of your business. And with that, I just want to say thank you so much for listening to the Product Biz Podcast, and I will see you next week on the next episode.